the very start of this video. Check that out. Need I say any more of an introduction to what's going to happen to this vehicle today? We're going to get some powers, we're going to make some noises. Let's get the ECUtek software and let's get plugged in. Well, what a car this is. We've just finished for the day and it's made some power. Let's go and speak to Richard and we'll get all cozy inside the cab.
I like this car.
Yeah.
I do like it.
You don't like it because it's making power.
I know.
You wouldn't like it out on the road.
No, I suppose I've got one of these really.
You'd be like, oh no, too much for me.
Going home.
Too much for me. Well, it is too much when you look at that red graph there from when the car was NA and it came in, and then to what we've actually achieved. That's actually with some turbo.
That red line is the last time we mapped it when it was NA.
And that's what I mean, yeah. And then where we've
it's staggering. It's like
it's
got like 8.
It's like you've put a mountain on top of the
It's
graph
got like 8 other NA FN2 powers.
Yeah, on top of it, yeah.
It looks ace. It looks ace. But I've enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed it because it's progression that we've seen. We've seen it unmapped, seen it modified, seen it mapped, seen it turboed, mapped it. Core blimey, it makes some noises.
I've made some really good power out of it today, to be fair. I don't think there's anything more to be had. Looks like a good setup. We haven't, like I say, we haven't done the setup. Setup was already done. Bought to us non-running, obviously, because it had got 1000cc injectors and a 4-bar map sensor in it. So obviously started initially with getting her up and running. Did a couple of base pulls on actuator pressure, make sure everything was all right. You know, make sure there was no leaks, anything obvious going on.
Shakedown.
A bit of a shakedown. We then started putting boost in, introducing boost on the boost duty.
Hello, I'm Boost.
Yeah, hello, I'm Boost. So yeah, we started off at around about the 360 mark, I think was where we sort of started on half a bar, which was actuator pressure. Slowly crept it in, sort of, you know, roughly probably around sort of 20 brake at a time, really. You know, a little bit of boost, little bit of boost, little bit of boost, little bit of boost, obviously working through as you do, obviously checking the fuel in and going through your timing as you go. We have finished on 407 wheel horsepower, which is equated to
just shy of 440.
440. So I mean, basically a few tiny points under 440.
Well, obviously, in the Honda scene, that's a 500 brake horsepower car.
Of course, it is a 500 brake horsepower car. Yeah. Well, it will be if you run it on one roller anyway.
Yeah,
for sure. But we can't get into that.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, like I say,
that's because you're only this number 2 tuner.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, it's it mapped up beautiful. We've made some good power all the way through. Really, really happy with it. Unfortunately, on the last run, it had the alternator belt off. So we've done a little bit of investigation and figured out obviously what's gone on there, or quite what's gone on there. It looks like he's ran the bonnet release cable round the wrong way, and
because it's short, because the route that he's taken is shorter, it's obviously too long. So he's almost folded it and put it down into that.
Yeah, into that gap. But unfortunately, what it did do is it rubbed on the belt, and then obviously somehow got between the belt, obviously, and the between one of the pulleys, and then obviously that ripped the belt off and had the belt off, and obviously had a real good yank on his bonnet release cable as well, and chewed some bits out of that. At the moment, it is leaking some coolant, so I'm not sure if the belt on its way off, because down the side of the engine, literally above the alternator belt, is a coolant line. I'm assuming it's had a little rip at that as well, obviously on the way off.
But we'll be having a look at that.
But obviously, we'll stick it on the ramp and obviously have a look at it. I mean, it's not our fault, but obviously if the customer wants to pick the vehicle up and drive it away, we certainly need to get it fixed and get it sorted. I don't think there's any major problems. I think probably the biggest casualty is is obviously the bonnet release cable.
Yeah,
but
because the alternator belt's on.
Yeah, because the alternator belt's on order. So we'll have a look. If it's ripped the little line down the side of the engine, I'm sure we can get one of those pretty easy enough, or change it out for another bit of pipe and get him on his way. But he will need to get a bonnet release cable for sure.
Yeah, it's an awesome car though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to go pretty well out on the road, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it is. I think maybe I'd like to fix it and have a go.
Yeah, well, we'll get it back together. We'll speak to the customer, see what he wants to do, and we'll go from there, won't we?
Do you want to have a look at this graph?
Come on then, let's have a look at this graph.
I'm pretty proud of this.
It's as impressive as it's going to get, I think. So let's have a look.
It is. Your graph's bigger than my graph.
So as we always say, red line is how she came in and blue line is how she leaves. Well, check that out, because that's fantastic. And yeah, I'm just going to stare at that for a while because I really like it. I think I might want one. But we finish on 438 brake horsepower, which equates to 408 at the wheels. And we're talking about an accurate dyno here. We're not talking about sticking it on one roll or anything. So that's a great result, and I'm really happy with it. And it looks amazing. Needs a bit of a clean, but yeah, really happy. Looking forward to seeing the customer and seeing how much he enjoys it. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and we will see you on the next one.
Before, and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.